Appearances. Appearances is part of how the Pharaoh would judge. Just like your modern judge, who is kind of, with his fellow Masons, divvying up the Pharaoh's job. As the head of the priesthood, as the head of society, the trade, the military, the top martial artist, as the closest to God, as God's representative on earth. They've divvied it up, right? We have a court system. Babylon's system of divvying up the Pharaoh's rightful place. King David, King Solomon, Jesus, the King of Kings. Of all the kings chosen by God, Jesus is the best by far, and we're just kind of holding our heads down like, sorry, Jesus, so we're not as glorious as you are. And that's what it means to be humble. It doesn't mean you let the devil guys take your place and divvy up your power in their system. I'm sorry if you think that this is some kind of mental illness and you're not smart enough to see that that's Western philosophy bullshit and not Afro Asiatic tradition of humanity. When I say that, I'm not talking about Asia and Africa together, taking everyone out. I'm not talking about the Semitic people who haven't, I'm not talking about Northeast Africa. I'm talking about universal cultural values that are shared by these group of people versus these liars, okay? So the first group you see, right, the first picture you see up to this point, 1:30, that is my great-grandfather. That is a white man who was in a bad secret society trying to do the right thing. Now these next guys, these Crowley-looking, Nero-looking motherfuckers, these are the secret society guys who are against me. Now, among their ranks, there are guys who believe that they're playing their part in a divine battle, and they don't really have a problem with me. So it's more of a mind fuck than you might think. I'm trying to put this in a nutshell. A super nutshell, basically there's a bunch of psychopaths going to war. Some of them know that they're good. Some of them believe that there's some kind of ritual going on and that they're right about their perspective, and that part of their job is to pretend that they're not fanatics and extremists and to war with people like me under the guise of warring against fanaticism. Okay? And they will include liberal movements to help them create that facade because their emphasis is on appearance. My emphasis is on application. They have the nice things, the nice cars, the nice women. I'm a very simple guy in the middle of nowhere in a dilapidated mansion, symbolizing the decline of righteousness and the temple of God and the families that fought for honor and that, raised armies to fight for God. A lot of you don't understand. You get rewarded by your service to God. You understand me? You ever hear them say to the military, thank you for your service to Babylon's system, right? And those of us who carry our cross knowing that the state, the kingdom of this world is part of Babylon's kingdom, we get rewarded, the best rewards. And the women are supposed to say, look, you're a conformist coward, and we don't like you, kind of like some of the Panther women did, even though some of them were communists. Like all these principles, they need to extract these principles from the ancient paradigm and twist them to give certain cowards with complexes the upper hand, and that is their plan. And they're going to incrementally do it and throw a lot of money and technology at it. The idea is to extort humanity like they extorted Egypt, to twist everything righteous men have built, for their purpose, their own purposes, their ulterior motives, okay? And this includes Satanists who are selfish and they believe in snaking people like me. So when you really look at this, they say, look, in a society where almost 1 in 3 people in the world are Christians, and then you have a bunch of Muslims and Jews, how do we secure our money and our position and our stocks? Well, we have to throw a lot of money at the propaganda machine and snake the people that people would have otherwise respected. People who are like Igbos, who Masonry is really built about, the idea that the true children of God migrated from Egypt is central in the story of the Bible. And you see it play out with the Igbo tribe and how Africans migrated close to Igbos. They came together, like they rallied around their kings. A lot of you aren't smart enough to see it. I know some of you Africans are getting mad right now, because I'm telling the truth. He goes like this: Ethiopia, Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, Sudan, Tanzania. There's certain countries that are more significant than others, but all of Africa shares love and the same culture and the same gene pool and so on, but it's very diverse. But certain places God, favored, okay? God favored the Igbos and the Ethiopians and the Egyptians, okay? There's no question in anybody's mind about that who's a religious person. Are ye, Amos 9:7, are ye not as the children of Ethiopia unto me? He's like, look, I favored you guys. The connection between Egypt and Bethlehem, the house of bread, okay? It's Afro Asiatic, okay? We mixed it with you because it symbolizes, where man is trying to come together in the Middle East and where man comes from, where the knowledge comes from, the bread from God, the spiritual nourishment, okay? So you have to have a mixed black person, to complete the ritual. Do you use oil in the ritual or do you use piss? And I'm not trying to say other races are piss compared to black people. I'm saying you have to use the right body in the ritual, the mind, body, and soul. Sacrifice a virgin or a slut, depending on the ritual, right? This is pervasive in religion. It's a pervasive theme. It's a never-ending theme. It's an undeniable, incontrovertible theme. So what you have to have is an Afro-Asiatic, not necessarily Chinese mixed with Nigerian, but an Afro-Asiatic person, a Hittite, Egyptian, or something like that, right? And you have to have it come from the spiritual knowledge base and the bloodline of Egypt to represent the kingdom and the bloodline, the mind, body, heart, and soul. Love your Lord with all your heart and soul of God. And if you replace that with Western materialism, Babylonian systems, if you divvy it up under the pretense of doing it more fairly, that is Satanism. It is saying, look, I defy the divine order, because I want to make myself feel good with women, money, and cute technology and the white man's toys. Thank you.
I'm going to explain it like this. I am above Hirohito. In Europe long ago, there was an argument between whites who were very serious, bitter guys. Some of them were Christians, some were pagans. But the pagans have all sold out anyway. And the effeminate kind of Greek guys, okay? It's part of what the Roman Empire was about, forcing people who aren't gay to participate in homosexuality. You look at my family, right? We are the guys who are very serious, who don't like gays. We don't like that stuff. We are the guys who fought with them. And over the years, some of them have decided to be soft. Like my little brother, right? He's very nice. He's a pacifist. He's a vegan. He's probably best described as a liberal, Whereas you have me, and look at my grandpa, right? This is nature. Some plants have thorns. Some are poison ivy. Some are roses. Some are flowers. Some flowers. Okay, this is nature. Who are you to interfere with it? Oh, he has a mental disorder. It's like saying, oh, that flower has thorns. Let's pluck it, or that rose. My great-grandfather was my mom's closest friend in the family. He was a high-ranking Mason, 33 and 1/3 degree. He's the good guy's pitcher, saying, I'm not just saying things in a way that confuses you or lies to make me look good. I don't do that. I don't do that at all. I am doing the work of God, okay? There are people in my family who are good, and there are people in my family who are angry, smoking and drinking because they don't like what ain't right. But I come from a long line of people who don't like what ain't right and are willing to fight, like Daniel Boone and my grandfather. My grandmother's really old. She's, I believe she's over 90 years old. Okay, I forgot her exact age, and that's, I believe that's a picture of her when she's younger, and my grandfather. So you're starting to see what I mean, okay? You see how these genes come together. Naturally there's a kind of natural selection, okay? And it has to do with mind, body, and soul. Good people with good mind and good souls, and good body. Look at my uncle, my grandfather when he was younger, right? He was a fit military guy, which means in my family's genes are warriors, the white guys who fought for honor, who joined the Templars to fight for God, versus these satanic little materialistic banker dogs who are making us look bad. Is there any fucking questions? Or are there any questions?